Hello everybody, and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be checking out an early release edition version of a game called Vectagon. In so many words, I guess you could call this a beta as well. And this is a dexterity-driven kind of Twitch-based arcade game, which falls into very much the same subgenre of arcade games as something like Super Hexagon. I believe it even draws pretty heavily on that as a sort of an influence. So I've given this one about maybe 10 or so minutes, and it is extremely hard, but I think you're probably going to enjoy it, and this version that I'm playing right now, this early release version, is actually free to try, so you guys can go ahead and try this as well. But I do want to warn you before I start, flashing lights will be had. It is definitely one that is not really for the people out there with any kind of epilepsy or you know, photosensitivity triggers, so I just want to get that off the cuff here before we get in. So let's press the button. Here are our credits. There we go. The people that designed and programmed. I see Tom Kale, sound design by John Tree, additional design by Matt Powell, and the inversions font by Daryl Flood. Alright, so those are the people responsible. So there's a few modes here. We've got Survival, which you can see my top score is 19.67 seconds. That's how short this is going to be, short-lived rather. It's really pretty, but it's not going to last long. We've also got a Masochism mode. Best I could do is 11:45. Suicide mode, 8:92. And Minimalism, it didn't record my score there. I think I got about 20 seconds or so. It's basically just sort of like a pared down version of the regular version, which is survival mode, and I'll show you that right now. Here we go. So I'm using the 360 controller. I'm using the left and right bumpers, which I found to be the fastest way to move around in this game, and you can also use arrow keys. You can also use left click. You'd probably not want to use left click though, because you can't actually rotate in the other direction. So yeah, you probably want something that you can go back and forth pretty easily. That's my first game today on video, 1310, and apparently I'm wasting their time. The music in the actual game is fantastic, and then we get presented with this, like, hallucinatory, horrible, you've screwed up horribly sort of music that, I don't know, it makes me feel so awkward every time I hear it. Obviously, they want to encourage you not to lose, but they also never really give you any positive encouragement when you win either, so it's a little bit of a tough space to occupy, where it's like, you kind of can't win oh, Jesus. Alright, well, game's not happy with me, clearly. They don't spare any kind of chance to give you some really negative feedback, and I don't know if I really like that, honestly. I mean, I've seen people do that in games plenty of times before, where it's sort of like a gentle prod or a nudge that's like, hey, we get that this is all self-referential, and we're just going to be sort of passive-aggressive toward you, or, you know, directly aggressive toward you in this case. And this is probably some of the more mean that I've ever seen a developer be to you in, you know, having lost their extremely difficult game, which they also admit is extremely difficult, with names like calling the mode suicidal. Now, I get it's all in good fun and everything, but I also think that when you do get a new high score, they should probably, you know, say yay, or like congrats, or like just let you put in, you know, some sort of like initials or something. I don't know, it doesn't really give you any positive reinforcement at all, which, you know, I should really not care that much, because it's just a game that's all about pushing yourself to the best of your abilities, and I very, very much enjoy this sort of subgenre. I've played a lot of hours of Super Hexagon in games similar to it, like Boson X. They all sort of feel a little bit more gentle to this one. I mean, it's not done still, so I can't completely come down too hard on it, but I feel like the balance is not 100% here yet. I actually really like the way the game is structured, and the presentation visually is quite stunning. I really like looking at what's going on here. It's just really hard to take in from a gameplay perspective what's actually happening here, because you've got, normally, if you're looking at a game like Guitar Hero, for example, where you've got things that are coming down at you, you're trying to navigate a very complex sort of maze of options that you need to perform, or you know, tasks in a way. You sort of can use one thing as a baseline. But in this, every few seconds, if you do perform whatever the last instruction was successfully, you'll see it adds an extra side to the geometry. So we've gone from a triangle to a square and so on and so forth. And that makes it very, very difficult when the game's turning you topsy-turvy all of a sudden to be able to tell where down and up are going to be and where the safe path is going to be after that. Now, I get that's partially the appeal to the whole thing, and it is there to try to confuse you on purpose, but I feel like there's not enough lead time to be able to see the next object that you need to navigate through, and I am trying to do this with like 1,000-yard stare. I'm trying to look at basically the end of what it lets you see, and it's nice that at least the blocks are transparent, but there's not an instantaneous shift as you turn around. There's actually a lot of times where I've gone to turn through the geometry and actually been in mid-turn when I actually failed. So that's another thing to keep in mind too. You actually need enough lead time to be able to navigate and still be able to see what's coming. Sometimes you have to make multiple moves in one go, which is not always possible. But, you know, I'm trying my best here. And I also grant that this is something that'll come in time. The more time I play this game, obviously, the better I'll get at it, the more able and capable I will be to cope with what's being thrown at me, which is granted quite a lot. And occasionally I just make a really bad move. And that was 100% my fault on that last move. But there's definitely been ones where I had absolutely no chance of surviving just because, well, you come around one of these turns, you get, yeah, like one thing right in front of you. As you come out of that spiral, you don't even know where the ground is going to be, and then all of a sudden, right after that thing is another two things that you need to navigate instantly. And even if you can see past them, you don't always know how many times you need to operate on the rotation factor. And, you know, again, I'm just kind of making excuses here, but I just wanted to let you know, I do feel like balance-wise, it's not 100% all the way there yet. Just a little bit more time between obstacles might actually be all it really needs. And I don't mean much, I just mean like another half a second or something to be able to get your bearings. Or, you know, if anything, just spread them out so this challenge level happens a little bit further in. Because this is all happening at sub 20 seconds. I don't know if you have any aspirations to have the player last for over a minute or anything, and probably you do, I would imagine. And probably I'll be able to adapt to this at some point. But right now, it's so punishing that I feel like a lot of people would be eliminated right from the get-go. And I don't know if you care. You might not care. In fact, I think maybe by the way that the title screen between things treats you, you can almost get the impression that you want people to be dissuaded, and that's sort of like the personal motivation that people need sometimes to get riled enough to challenge themselves to go on further. I don't need that, actually. I feel personally I can just kind of push myself for as long as I find something entertaining, and this premise all in and of itself is very entertaining and well presented, and the music is really well done, the graphics behind the scenes, like everything is really smooth and wonderful, and it's really, really just a glory to behold, and I'd even love to just watch this play itself for a while, because it's quite amazing, but I feel like the extra stuff beyond that, the kind of negativity, probably isn't necessary. In fact, I think it would be a better product as a result just for shedding that kind of thing, but that's also coming from someone who tends to beat up on himself a little too much in general, and maybe other people don't have that problem quite as much. But, you know, that's my 2 cents. I should really switch over to another difficulty mode so you can see that this is just the easiest one that we're given. And also, if you think this looks too easy or you think I'm just absolutely terrible, I highly encourage you to go give this a download and try it out yourself. You might see that maybe it's a little more difficult than you might anticipate. Alright, so this is the second difficulty level. And it's a lot faster. Well, maybe I shouldn't say a lot faster. It's marginally faster. The third difficulty level is a lot faster, and we'll see that in a moment also. I would like to get one moment here where I can actually live for at least 10 seconds. I don't know if that'll happen, but, you know, we're giving it our best try. Ah, see, I went too far. Basically, if you do 2 steps, or have to do 2 steps, you're basically dead most of the time, unless you can do that operation instantaneously. Like, you need to know that you need those steps. Oh. You need to know that those steps are coming up ahead of time before you even, you know, try to operate. Okay, there's right, left, right. And of course there are clues given by the fact that, you know, things sit in a certain way on the walls, and you can probably start to pick up on that after a while. Look at the pulsating that that's doing compared to the last one. This is like yeah, anyway. Let's try suicide mode. Record is 892. This one, I've found a lot of the time, they don't even give you, like, a lead-up point on this, so a lot of the time you'll actually just die, like, the second you start, and maybe I'll get a video, or a bit of video that shows that. But it should give you, like, a 1, 2, 3, go, because it's really not gratifying or anything to just find that you're dead the second you start without even, you know, one moment to get ready for what's coming. So far, it feels like it's been a little bit more doable with what I've shown so far, but there's definitely been ones that are like, and you're dead. Alright, 9:32. I've already beaten my record. Good for me. I haven't actually tried this all that many times. All I need is a run where I get, like, optimal layout, and I can just kind of follow along. It's so distracting, too, how pretty this game is, too. I just really want to just look around and take in the sights, but it is not a thing that I can do. Painful. It's painful to watch. Maybe I'm also more sensitive to that kind of negativity just because, you know, I'm a YouTuber and Twitch streamer, and I hear that kind of stuff all the time, and it's like, can't we just not be mean to each other? I just want to be friends. Game, why do you have to be so mean to me? Anyway, that might have been kind of an example of what I was talking about, where it's like, you're just straight up dead. And also, talking and concentrating on this game, not a good idea. I don't recommend it. If you want to make your own video of this, I would recommend doing post-commentary if possible. I should have done that. 971, I think, is about as good as we're going to get on Suicide Mode of Vectagon. Let's try last mode here, Minimalism, where we never leave triangle state. And I feel like I may have a much more substantial chance at survival here. Hopefully, anyway. We'll see. We've already gone through 2 vortices. See, I couldn't see what was coming up there, so I had no idea which way to dodge. You know, I can see far ahead enough to hopefully make some informed decisions, but then you end up with multiple one-way paths, and, like, I don't know how you're supposed to be able to see through the other ones to know how to react to the next one coming. I'd love to hear your opinions, by the way, whether or not you guys agree with what I'm saying, or whether or not it's just me being bad. I mean, this is what I've gotten about 10 or 15 minutes worth of gameplay now, adding on what I played before the video and what I've played in the video. And I grant that that is not a lot of time, but I do feel like I'm pretty good at Super Hexagon for the most part, so I'm surprised that I'm maybe this bad with my reaction times. And that's all this is, just a test of your reaction times, really. Ugh, I feel so dumb not being able to do better at this. It's so frustrating sometimes. But I guess in a good way. It's in a gratifying way when you're able to beat your own records. Oh, man. See, I panicked there and I hit left and right at the same time. That is the kiss of death. If you're ever in one of those one-way scenarios and you just hit left, right, you're done. You're out. Turn, turn, wait, turn. Oh, see, I actually just clipped through one right there. I have had that happen a number of times. I think it's about the 3rd or 4th time I've seen it, where I've actually lived by clipping directly through one of the obstacles. Now, that's certainly just a bug, and I'll go back and look at it again in the video after I'm done recording here, but I'm almost certain that that's what happened. I don't even think I necessarily dodged. I think I just went head-on straight through that, and it accepted it as a valid input. So, you know, if you want to be truly punishing, obviously that's a thing that needs to get ironed out. I'm sure lots of players would appreciate being given a bye there, but I don't think they want that. It's probably just some simple thing about the momentum or something like that. I'm sure that'll get sorted. Can we make it a little further than we did before? Oh no, why would I just head into that? I don't know what I'm doing. Alright. Well, I'm clearly garbage at Vectagon. I hope you're less garbage at it than I am. I definitely do recommend that you give it a try, and I'd love to hear your feedback again, whether or not you think that's just me being bad or what. Granted, I'm sure my experience will be a lot different after I've spent over an hour trying to play it or something like that. So, you know, as with Super Hexagon, I did start humbly and got a lot better. I just think that some of that experience should probably have carried over for me, but I don't know. Can't really say. Anyway, link's going to be in the description. There's a version for, I think, all 3 platforms, Windows, Mac, and Linux. So everybody can give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you like the video, because that does help the series out dramatically, help spread the word so more people end up seeing these videos, and thereby they get more views and the channel does better. You get the idea, hopefully. And of course, be sure to come back again tomorrow, because new episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day. So if you enjoy the idea of finding out about a new artistic, original, or generally unique indie game, feel free to subscribe to the channel and come on back tomorrow. I'll see you back for another one then. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a fantastic night. Talk to y'all later.